Hi, I'm Jim Cassetta, local history librarian here at the Pearl River Public Library. And as you know, we're doing our oral history interviews in celebration of 60 years at 80 Franklin Avenue in Pearl River. Today we have John Carson, local musician and author. He's written a book called For Carol. If you want to hold that up, John, great. And he is also a rhythm guitarist or lead?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, I thought so. Of the Georgia Five, which plays all over Rockland and Bergen County. So we have John. John, welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
Oh, you were great. I'm glad you came. I know we were trying to get a hold of you, but because of your busy schedule of fame and fortune, it was tough to get you.
Not so much fortune.
Yeah.
More fame.
More fame than fortune. Well, what we want to talk about today is, you growing up in Pearl River, which is also sort of the backdrop to your novel. And when was your novel published?
About a year ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that was on Kindle Direct,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where all publishing is headed. It's all headed to the internet and self-publishing websites.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to is give me your earliest memory of living in Pearl River.
It was just a great place to grow up. I grew up right down the street from 7-Eleven, which wasn't there when I was growing up.
That's right.
But there was always something to do. I mean, town was bustling back then. All the storefronts,
Right.
Ford and Pizza.
Right. And a lot of kids.
Oh, yeah. Kids everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you would go out and your mother would say, "Be home for dinner."
Yeah.
That was it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had my family had the 7 to 7 schedule. You left at 7 a.m. after you ate breakfast and didn't show up again until 7 p.m. Sometimes go to Dave Wallace's house and play a 14-hour game of Monopoly. That was done too. But there was. Well, I can agree with you. There was always something to do. And what street did you live on?
Cardine Place.
Cardine Place.
It's right off of Forest.
Right.
Yeah.
And down there. And what did your parents do? Your mother was a housewife.
Yeah, but she was also a bookkeeper later on, and she also worked for the schools. My father was a vice president for Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
And my grandparents also lived in the house with us. She was a housewife. He was a retired fireman and also worked for the post office later on.
Hard-working folks.
Yeah.
How many sisters did you have? I remember. Five. Yes. You were the only
only
male,
boy,
right?
and the youngest.
And the youngest. Whoa. That's a combination of spoiling and punishment.
Yes.
All rolled into one.
The Irish Prince.
The Irish Prince.
That's what I was called.
Now, you went to school with my brother John.
Yes, I did.
At some point, did you teach yourselves guitar? I know my brother learned by himself.
And what happened was we all met in the library in the high school. We all decided we were going to put a band together. None of us played anything. Except for Ken Elmendorf played a little guitar.
Right.
And he wanted me to play drums, but my mother said there was absolutely no way I was getting a drum set. So he said, "Be my rhythm guitar player." So your brother was supposed to play bass, which he never did. And basically, there was a lot of music in school, a lot of musicians, a lot of bands going on. So we all learned from each other.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what you did.
Great.
Now, you mentioned you were at the library at the Pearl River High School. Did you come to the library when your kid here, the public library?
Yeah, it was my kids, and
yep.
If I ever wanted to get away and have some peace and quiet to read or whatever, I would come here.
Right, sure. This is a good place for it.
And this is also where the first computers were.
Yes, that's right. The Apple II.
Yeah.
You used that, huh?
Yeah,
that's
tried to.
Well, you tried to, right? Yeah, we all tried to use it. I think for some of us, it was beyond our comprehension. Right. But that's a great example of the library, even back then in the 70s, trying to keep up with technology. This was the early 80s.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's always been the case. That's it's been a hallmark, I think, of the Pearl River Library. When VHS tape came out, we had them. We went from the card catalog to personal computers. Yeah, you remember the card catalog? There was a lot to be said about the card catalog, except when you were like 3 deep waiting for a draw. It almost sounded as if you were waiting for a mausoleum drawer. Well, it's so your kids worked here at one time.
Yeah, my son did actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought your daughter worked here too.
Did she?
Oh, okay. Well, you're only her father.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you know?
It's a different world, Jim.
Right, exactly.
Let me get that.
So, again, why don't you tell us about your book?
Oh, it's just about it's a novella, and it's about a man who's, going through some hard times, just like a lot of people in your life. You made maybe the wrong decisions, and life isn't really going the way you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of has I was kind of channeling Frank Capra,
mm-hmm.
and it sort of has It's a Wonderful Life kind of
small
vibe.
town feel.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, and I use a lot of places around Pearl River, from my life.
Excellent.
And so he gets the opportunity, to go off in a different direction, a different realm.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds that, life isn't all that much different, and it isn't all that much better. And, than when you left. There's no place like home.
Right, the grass is always greener,
Exactly.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. You're joining a growing list of local authors, and I think that's a testament to one, our age, but secondly, the education we got at in Pearl River.
Yeah.
We have a good basic education, and
No
people
doubt.
are doing things, outside of our employment, and it's reflective. It makes a difference. I mean, did you come here when you were a kid and do a lot of reading or go to programs to the library?
Some reading, no real programs.
Oh, okay. But it was here for you,
Right.
when you were younger.
There's always so much other stuff going on, sports and all that.
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
stuff, so.
sure. There's a lot, and it's good because to have a place like this to come to, just to unwind.
Yeah.
From that hectic schedule. Although I had some sports, had a lot of just goofing around, that type of thing.
Mostly what I did.
Right.
Like we said, there was always so much to do, so many kids,
Right.
in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. What's your best takeaway on Pearl River? Someday you'll be, toward the end of your life, and someone will say, "Oh, you grew up in Pearl River. What made it such a great place to remember and live in?"
It was just always safe, and you always knew you weren't gonna end up on the back of a milk carton.
Yeah. Yeah. True. That could happen.
And just like we said, all the kids and the neighborhoods, and just it was a great time to grow up.
Yeah.
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 In the
I
70s and
a lot of
80s.
people say that though about their childhood. I'm wondering if things look better when we look back.
Yeah.
But no, it is. It's a great town. I did a program last night on high school sports, the history of high school sports. And I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure there are 200 people around the country have watched it. Because when they go online and they see, Pearl River, they tap into this recorded Zoom program on Facebook Live. And, I get hundreds of hits on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So there is a Brigadoon type of quality to Pearl River, and to me, it'll always be my hometown.
Oh yeah.
It's like something you never you never forget. And I've almost, aside from 5 years, I lived 3 years in Blauvelt, 2 years in Oneonta, and so this will be it. This is where I always come home to.
Yeah. I left for about 2 years. I lived up in Thiels.
Yeah.
Didn't stray too far, and wanted to raise my kids here though.
Right. Exactly. Could you imagine this town without a library,
No.
without a public library?
No.
You understand the
The importance of it,
yeah,
sure.
right, absolutely. Sure. I mean, the best thing about it is that I'm researching and I'm writing a 60th anniversary history that'll
Wow.
come out in the fall. And what I'm finding is decade after decade is that with a library, this becomes a place to buy a home, but it also adds to the resale value because people don't want to move into a hick town, a place without a library, without an intellectual or cultural center. So the strength of the school and the size of the library, which now we're a mid-sized library in Rockland County, helps.
Sure.
Sure doesn't hurt. That's for sure. Well, John, I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jim.
It's good to see you again.
You too.
Yeah, I have to periodically physically see you to make sure that my childhood was not, somebody else's on another planet. Because you could really forget. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. And you can buy John's book on Amazon.com. On Kindle Direct was the publisher. And it's entitled For Carol. Thank you very much.
Thank you.